Hello and welcome to the HP Podcast, episode number 282. I'm Ben, and with me here today is Davey Wavy Baby.
Ooh,
Hello, Dave. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
That I gave you such an enthusiastic welcome of one I haven't done in a while, and you're just like, hey.
Yeah, I have a rant because
Oh,
I've been
no.
having a really hard time planning a trip to your country, which isn't your country's fault, but
That's doubtful.
I'd like
Real
to
quick,
rant.
though, let's introduce Brandon, the haircut boy. Hello, Brandon. Are
Hi.
you ready for Dave's rant?
I'm ready for Dave's rant. I love when non-Americans shit talk America because I love shit talking America.
I just love a good Dave
and
rant. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I want to hear it. He's also wearing an LA shirt, which is actually funny.
Yeah.
So you're repping the brand, but you're not trusting the brand, essentially.
Yeah.
But proceed. Hello.
Yeah,
Hello,
please
everyone.
proceed. Please
Hello.
proceed.
Okay, so first of all, I apologize because I think Brandon's haircut deserves more time in the limelight.
We'll give it
I
some more
I was
time.
kind of hoping
Yeah.
that you were gonna throw to me last,
guys,
so we
please,
could.
please,
Because
please.
I want to have sex with
know.
Brandon right
I
now.
know.
Like that haircut needs to love me for one night
I
and
know.
leave me pregnant, and then go for milk and cigarettes and then never come back again. That's what I need from that haircut. That's,
I can do that for you, but I can't take all the credit because I can take none of the credit. The barber works magic, boys.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
It's like the male makeup. It,
Yeah.
it truly is.
Yeah.
And it'll at least last a week or two. So, yeah, do it to it, buddy.
yeah. Love
Let's
it.
hear this anti-American rant, Dave.
So it's not
Freaking
anti-America,
filthy
but
communist Canadian.
I feel like I need to provide a bit of a PSA, and this may be something that a lot of the people who are listening or watching already know, but Airbnb is broken. The
Yeah.
platform Airbnb is completely unusable. So I've mentioned it a few times that I'm planning a trip. It's a little bachelor weekend for me and a few friends to Cleveland this coming weekend, and I have had not one, not two, but 3 different Airbnbs cancel on me throughout the course of trying to organize this trip.
Yikes.
And
Do you think it's just they're anti-Canadian? Is that
I don't know. It has nothing to do with America, really. I just kind of, segued it with that, but it really has nothing to do with America. But I'm trying everything I can, and the amount of times I've had to tell my group of guys who I've taken full control of organizing this trip that, hey, I'm really sorry, but our Airbnb canceled on us again. And the problem is like, Brandon, if you want to put your house on Airbnb, you can do that, and you can also put your house on sale at the exact same time, and
Good.
nobody cares. It's nobody checks. It's just, sure, whatever. If you change your mind and sell your house or something like that, then fuck the guest. It doesn't matter. And you might be thinking, oh well, David, if you got canceled on like Airbnb did something for you, right? It's like, nope.
No.
You know what Airbnb does is they have someone who I don't want to call them an AI because that would be giving them too much credit, but a bot just kind of randomly pulls similar listings, throws them at you, and says, here, we helped you find a new place. And I'm like, the places you've suggested aren't remotely close to what I had before, and the ones that are 2.5 times the price. So yeah, I've lost all faith in Airbnb. I ended up booking a Vrbo, which I understand that hosts on Vrbo probably have even less accountability than they do on Airbnb.
and most of them double list. Most of them
yeah.
list on both platforms.
Exactly. But the guy I got on Vrbo, I've been chatting with him, and funny thing, so we're going this weekend to watch a baseball game in Cleveland. We're going to watch my Toronto Blue Jays play the Cleveland Guardians. And the host, right after I made the booking, he's like, hey, I noticed your area code is from Toronto. He's like, I'm in Toronto right now. I'm like, no way, that's so cool. And I'm like, we're coming down next weekend to watch the Guardians play. And he's like, I'm in Toronto right now watching my Guardians play your Blue Jays. So we're having like a kind of reverse thing. So the guy seems like a solid dude. I told him straight up, like, we've been canceled on 3 times. Please tell me you're not going to cancel on us. And he's like, I have no plans. Sorry, one little funny thing, because this guy gave me a heart attack. When we were chatting about like baseball, I said, hey, Cleveland's really good this year. Hopefully Toronto can squeak out 1 win this weekend. And sure enough, on the weekend, they won 2 games. This guy messaged me on Monday and he's like, you jinxed my team, so I'm going to have to cancel your reservation.
Oh,
Sounds like a nice guy, Dave. Maybe you guys could get together, grab a nice glass of wine, catch a movie or something.
Yeah, we talked about
You got a
craft
little
beer
thing
and
going.
stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Jesus,
it's a
Dave.
little
Yeah.
romance. But anyways, rant over. If you plan on using Airbnb in the future, just buyer beware. If you can pay a little bit extra money for a hotel, I personally, after this experience, think it's worth it. But
yeah.
I mean, bachelor party, you want to go Airbnb though, if you can, right? Or some other form like that.
well, the problem is you're doing it on a budget, and if you're looking for a place for 6 people, I think the average Airbnb I was seeing was like $800 to $900 Canadian for 2 nights. For hotel rooms, you need 3 of them. That takes
Right.
2 people each, and that was pushing $2,000 American. So
Right.
big difference.
Yeah.
Big.
I mean, not only the price, but also just the convenience of all being together, like hanging out.
Exactly.
But I don't know. I've booked probably dozens of Airbnbs at this point, and I've never had this experience.
Have you
Although I
booked
know it happens.
post-COVID?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hear it.
Not dozens post COVID, but I've booked post COVID.
Dave, I'm going to agree with you. I've seen similar ideas of Airbnb going significantly downhill, even in the past couple years. I don't even know if it's like post COVID or not. Like in the past year or two, I've been seeing people just being incredibly negative towards Airbnbs and like saying, hotel's the way anymore. Because it's not even, I mean, your situation is different because you will save money ultimately because of the layout. But like if it's a couple people, some people are even saying it's not even that much money you save anymore. I mean, we've had great experiences. Ben and I and the boys have had great experiences before, but it's been a minute. And
Yeah,
it
I've-
actually did kind of work out though. You kind of made a friend.
Yeah, maybe even a lover.
Like,
honestly.
Technically, but the crux of the rant is like when this sort of shit happens, I would expect Airbnb takes like in all 3 of my bookings, Airbnb had a service fee of over $100. So I was
Yikes.
expecting a break on those for the next one I was booking, and their expectation was because we helped you find a new place. That's all they need to do, and this is on the host. And at one point, they even said, "Well, you can ask the new host for a discount." And I'm like, "The new host has nothing to do with
Come
this."
on, man.
Yeah. The
Um,
worst Airbnb booking I ever had, and by the worst I mean the only bad one I've ever had, is we went to LA for E3 one year, and because we were at E3, we were working, and we needed internet, and we got to our. Now, granted, the place didn't have a lot of amenities, and like she didn't have garbage bags. We asked for them, and she brought garbage bags, whatever. But like we got there, and there was no internet, and so she was like, "Oh, here's the get on this internet." And I'm like, "That's not your. That's clearly another apartment's internet because it was like marked as the other apartment's number or something like that." And it was real slow. It was real bad, even though she advertised for it. So after it was, I mean, whatever. We made do. I think I used my hotspot probably. But after the fact, I messaged Airbnb and just told them, like, I left her a decent review and mentioned, like, internet wasn't working properly, but, I don't know what the real story was. And Airbnb literally refunded 50%. But I think it's like Airbnb, that was probably 2018. That the last time I had a bad experience with Airbnb, and like any company that gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it's crowdsourced essentially. You just get more shitheads in the mix. So I imagine as they get bigger, it's harder to do good quality control with like people canceling, and you get a lot more of that kind of stuff because it's just every Tom, Dick, and Harry who has a spare futon for rent gets on there and
Right.
screws it up.
And I mean, Hulk Hogan in chat is saying he's never had an Airbnb cancel. I mean, if someone saw the name Hulk Hogan come through, do you really think that they would cancel on Hulk Hogan, even if it were an Airbnb or double booked?
That's a good point.
I'd make it happen as a host. That's all I'm saying, brother.
The funny thing is, now, granted, I've booked many, many more hotels than I've ever booked Airbnbs, but I feel like every time I book a hotel, probably 7 out of 10 times that I book a hotel, there's something goes wrong. Whether it's the room wasn't ready at the right time that they promise you, or you get there and like the there's no towels in the bathroom, or like they charge the card weird, whatever. Like there's always something. I've had one time where I had a hotel double booked, like overbooked, and I got there and they were like, "We don't have a room for you," and I was like, "Well, you're the only hotel in 20 miles from here, and I already paid you. Like I prepaid to save $10 or whatever." And they're like, "Sorry, we can refund it for you." I'm like, "Okay, good." So you know what I did? I got an Airbnb.
Damn, dude.
But
Well,
that was also like 5+ years ago. So.
I'm with you guys. My wife and I went to France and Belgium a couple of years ago, and that entire trip was Airbnb, and it was fantastic as a result.
Yeah.
But this experience is just completely solid it for me. So
Have
yeah,
you like written Airbnb a nice stern letter telling them you're
so here's the thing, Ben, is I would love to, but Airbnb is kind of stonewalled the ways you can do
Okay.
that. So I left a review on some like third-party business reviewing site, and I also reviewed them on the App Store. And you can't report or review a host unless you complete a stay. So I would love to warn other renters or guests about these hosts, pulling the rug out of under their guests. But Airbnb doesn't give you a way to do that. And yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Dave, you should have never got rid of Twitter. You could have bitched on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might have been your only way at this point.
with my platform of like 1,100
Right.
followers when I had Twitter.
Well, I don't. We will get to the show eventually, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. There's not a whole ton to talk about, so I think we need to spend a little bit of time on Brandon's haircut now. Like, give it the shine it deserves. Brandon, you had
boys,
you also had a
please.
mini rant. I'm not necessarily
Please.
talking about the haircut. Whatever, the haircut's it's great, but whatever.
Sure.
But you had a little mini rant. I don't
Mhm.
know if you want to talk about it on the pod or not. Right before we started the show, you said I
yeah.
booked this in preparation for something.
Shout out to the
Oh,
retreat.
yes. I've been looking around at different jobs, and so I wanted to look fresh. And the only time I can get an appointment was, after an interview, which is like beside the point. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It worked out because I needed a haircut either way. I wasn't gonna cancel it. It was too fucking late at that point anyway. But yeah, I'm feeling good. I feel like $1 million, boys. I feel like $1 million. I was trying to grow my hair out for a little bit. I don't know if it's because I was like incredibly depressed and I didn't really care that much. I think that's what I was telling myself I wanted to grow it out, but really it was just that I was being lazy, I think.
Yeah, we've all been there. Yeah.
This is kind of what I was telling myself. And I was just tired of, I'd just look in the mirror and be like, who is this homeless man?
Yeah, that's how my beard
I-
ended up like this. I was
I
like,
hate
oh, I
that.
want to grow it out. Then I just quit caring. Right.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, I look 10 years more gorgeous.
mm,
And I tip my barber well for that reason.
nice.
Very well.
Can I ask Brandon, have you had this haircut before?
Oh yeah, I honestly I haven't gone to the same barber that I really like for very long, maybe like a couple months, but I've essentially had the same haircut for like 6, 7, 8 years, something like that. A long fucking time. And I was thinking about changing it up. Like I said, I don't know whether it was just me being lazy or changing it up. But at the end of the day, it's like I'm not just gonna wait. I'm not just gonna keep waiting for it to look shabby. I just couldn't do it anymore. I
The
couldn't.
reason I ask is because you always look great, Brandon, but like you look on point right now.
Ooh.
And I'm thinking like obviously the barber styled your hair, and this is something I always have difficulty with is the barber will style my hair and I'll be like, I look so good right now. And this is going to be so easy to recreate in the morning with my
No.
my dollar store fucking gel. And
No.
so are you confident that you can recreate this look in your
Absolutely
own bathroom?
not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. But hey, look, we take them where we can get them. I feel good tonight, and then it's going to be whatever it is after this. Ultimately, it's going to be a net positive. Like in
Mhm.
the bag, it's going to be a net positive. But I think I got to get some different hair product, boys. A
Oh,
good
yeah.
pomade, I think might be what I need.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I need a comb.
You don't
I
have a
have
comb?
one. I don't. I just never bought one. I moved
you
into.
literally have no comb whatsoever.
Dude, I use my hands.
Do you have one fork and one knife in your drawer in your kitchen?
No, dude. But recently, so typically,
But he would if it wasn't for his mother.
Oh, I know. Yeah, God bless her for having an extra set. It's from straight from the '90s, but I love it.
Wait. I got to stop you there. I got to tell
No,
you
go
something
ahead.
real quick.
Go ahead.
When we moved you into your new apartment, your mom like helped. Your dad had the truck and your mom helped, and you got there and you were like, I got to get this and this and this, and she's like, Brandon, I bought all that stuff and brought it over for you and put it away for you. You're like, oh my god, you just had this stunned look on your face.
Thank you. You didn't
Yeah.
have to do that.
So
but
that's
I-
the only reason
I
Brandon doesn't
appreciate
have one set of silverware,
Yeah.
and also that he has toilet paper.
Well, if
Yeah,
you're really
I'm-
desperate, the fork can be a comb.
I know. That's a good call. Maybe I'll have to do that tomorrow before work. But God bless my mother. She's too good to me. She's too good for this world. But yeah, the other day I'm the dishwasher. I don't have one of those.
Yeah.
And so I'll just like put them on a drying rack essentially. And the other day, I'm not very good at organizing the silverware, but the other day I just picked it all up in one bundle and I have my organization rack and I just literally took the whole stack and just threw it right on the top. I didn't even bother to separate it. It's actually worked out pretty well because I don't care. Like if I want a knife, it's like not that far away, but
Yeah.
yeah. And now that is some advanced laziness, boys. But hey, look, single living get you this kind of luxury. This is something you married men just can't be doing around your house. And I can, and this is the freedom. This is the freedom I get to have. For 4 months I had a single recliner in the middle of my living room. This is the luxury I get.
Yeah.
And hey, look, it's got all the perks and none of the good things about it. So, but yeah, good times, boys. I appreciate you digging the hair.
Yeah.
I'm digging it.
And as Dave mentioned, you're ready for Elden Ring DLC with the haircut now.
Absolutely, dude. Just in case Miyazaki showed up in some way, I had to look as handsome as I possibly could. You never know. These things could happen.
Yeah.
So
it is possible. I mean, there is the possibility of it happening. It's not a very I wouldn't go to Vegas on it, but it is hot. Yeah. It is a possibility. Yeah.
I'm not betting on it, but weirder things have happened.
Well, something weird that's happened is that a lot of you have decided to support us over on patreon.com/handsomephantom. We appreciate your patronage over there. You can sign up for ad-free early audio access. If you're listening to this show live, it's Tuesday night about 7 o'clock is when we normally go live. It's a little after that right this moment, of course, but we go live on YouTube. You can also check us out on free feeds everywhere on Thursdays. You get it ad-free and a day early if you are on audio feeds as well. You can also sign up to hang out with us in our Discord over at handsomephantom.com/Discord. We appreciate you hanging out with us. You don't have to be a patron to do that. Just a cool person. And as a matter of fact, Compulsive Nerd is in our Discord, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't even know it's for a podcast. He has just been like talking. He's like, "Wait, you guys have a show?" Like, no, we just hang out here.
Yeah,
I mean, that's fine. That's fine.
That's good too. That's good too.
I gotta shout him out because Skull and Bones came up and how I was planning on playing it this weekend, and he was like, "Oh my god, somebody bought that! Please tell me more." I'm like, there is so much history you need to catch up on, friends.
Right.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's okay. We take all kinds, and well, I'll leave it at that. Boys, yesterday, Nintendo announced they were going to have a Nintendo Direct. We knew it was going to come, right? Like it had to come.
Right.
And they said it's going to be tomorrow. And today is that day. We got the Nintendo Direct. So I don't want to go over every single item in there, especially since some of it's just pure weebery that none of us care about. I'm just kidding. We can talk about whatever. But I wanted to bring it up and throw it to you guys and me, because as much as I hate Nintendo, I still love them. And there's some stuff in there I'm excited about too. But Dave, why don't we go to you first? Is there anything in the Nintendo Direct today that looked exciting to you? I know this isn't your normal AAA, big budget games that you like to play on your Switch. This is just the little Nintendo games. But what looked interesting, or what did you think of the show in general?
For a Shadow Drop Direct, this is becoming more and more common for these showcases to just kind of happen with a day's notice, which I'm sure journalists hate that, but for a Shadow Drop Direct, it was pretty damn good. And I think what I liked about it most is a lot of the heavy hitters were announced as coming in a couple months, which is great, because I mean the last thing you want to see is a title card and no release date. So this is the opposite of that. So
do you think that's because everything that they announced, like they don't want to announce a game for this gen, for the new Switch, and I think the new Switch's announcement's probably coming within the next 6 months, if I had to guess. They said within the next fiscal year, but I think sooner than that.
Yeah, that's definitely a good bet. And I think there's a good chance that one of the big games we saw today may actually be part of the launch plans for Switch 2. And if that's the case, maybe it gives us a bit of a sense of what we're going to get with the Switch 2. But in any case, talking about what we saw today, obviously the big one for me was Metroid Prime 4. I'm drawing a blank on what the
Beyond.
Beyond. I was supposed to say Echoes, but I'm like, no, that was the third one, which was 13 years ago, by the way.
Yeah,
I
it's
looked that up
crazy.
for the show.
Yikes.
2007, since we had a last proper Metroid Prime first person game. And obviously, we've had remakes and re releases, but this was an excellent trailer. Obviously, I'm really excited for Metroid Prime 4, but I think this is how you do a trailer. It was short. I think it was just over 2 minutes.
Mhm.
You got a good look at them, who we assume is the main bad guy, who looked badass and was like controlling two Metroid Primes or Metroids behind him. So a lot of intrigue there. We saw a good chunk of what we can assume is actual gameplay. It's not a Killzone 2 situation where they're like, yeah, trust us, it's gameplay. That was gameplay. And I think, you know, it looked awesome. It gives us a sense of what Metroid Prime first person looks like 13 years after the last one, which is pretty damn good. But more importantly, is it lets everybody sort of sigh a sigh of relief, because they're not pulling another M on us. We're just getting Metroid Prime. You know, I don't want to say they're sticking to basics, but it seemed traditional. It seemed what we all know and love. So that was good. And we also got a launch window, which is soon, 2025. So could be within the year. And that's a good thing, because, you know, this is the first legitimate look we've had at this game. Like, obviously we knew it was coming, but you know, getting this game within the year is positive. So yeah, Metroid Prime 4 was the big one for me, and I'm very happy that that's coming. And as I said in the Discord, 2025 is shaping up to be a stupid year in gaming.
Mhm.
So yeah, be excited, people. But yeah, I'll pass it
Yeah.
over to you guys for the next piece.
Well, I wanted to comment on that, Dave, that I like Metroid. I remember playing the old games way back in the day, and I kind of want to get in and play. I never played 3, and it's been a long time since I played the other ones. So, as you mentioned, 13 years since 3 even came out. So, but I wonder about this because they said 2025, and this also had the Nintendo Switch logo at the beginning of it. So, this must be a title that's going to come to both systems, I would have to imagine. Like, kind of just like pretty much every time there's a new Nintendo system, a game is on the old system as well as the new one that's cross gen.
As I was saying that I suspect this could be part of the launch plans, I then thought to myself that this game was sort of in development hell, and I think
Yeah.
it had its development restarted at one point, so it could very well just be a Switch title and
Yeah.
not come to the Switch 2, or just have some port. But in any case, it's yeah, it's probably going to come to both in some
Yeah.
way.
And I guess we still don't know 100% about the backwards compatibility situation with the new Switch and everything. So, yeah, but like, what was it? Twilight Princess, Breath of the Wild. Those were two big ones that were launch games, but also launched on the previous system. So,
Breath of the Wild launched on the Wii U.
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
pretty sure
yeah,
it did.
Damn,
Yeah.
it
I
did.
didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they
It
ran
did.
like ass. My goodness.
I mean, it kind of
runs like ass on
runs like ass on the
too.
Switch.
That's what I'm saying. Is
like, yeah.
on lesser hardware. What the hell?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
It's amazing, but it doesn't. It's not the
Yeah.
best running game. Brandon,
No.
what
Yeah.
what did you see, if anything? I know you
Yeah.
hate Nintendo.
Yeah,
I
I'm
know
like
you
the
hate it.
Nintendo guy. First of all, I'm gonna just start out the gate with what I absolutely fucking hated. It made me cringe out of my goddamn skin. I want to die. Funko Fusion is a game that
Oh,
did
yeah.
not need to be made. I've been preaching against Funkos for years now, and I
Mhm.
wish the goddamn things would die. I feel like at some point
They are dying.
when I'm on my deathbed, I'm gonna drive past like a landfill because they're
You're
gonna
gonna
be
drive past a landfill on your deathbed.
dude. Have you seen Wally? This is
Fair
the
enough.
future, bro.
That's
Dude,
fair.
this is the future. And because the landfills are going to be everywhere, and all I'm going to see is just mountains. It's going to be like Mount Everest of Funko boxes and toys. And I'm tired of seeing them. I don't want a game. I know it's for children. But they actually, and I have a couple, so I'm not going to be a complete poser. The ones I have are cool. I have 2 of them, 3 of them. But this game makes me so angry. I don't know who it's for. I hope it doesn't sell. And I hope bad things happen to people to buy it. So I can't stomach it anymore, boys. And I cannot lie to anybody about it anymore. I don't like it.
The time for this game to be released was about 3 years ago when Funko was like still on a high.
Right.
And then about a year ago, I think they destroyed something like 30 or 40 million dollars worth of Funko because no one was buying what they had. So they had to get rid of inventory. I hope they incinerated it, but they probably didn't.
Dude, give it to somebody. Make it into like infrastructure.
Turn it into frisbees or something, you know?
Dude, like I want to punch the wall of my house, and I want the Funko to be the structural beam in there, you know, in between the concrete. It's what holds it together, man.
Mhm.
Like that would be a better use than sitting on it in a box on a shelf. Truly.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, that was my thing. I don't know. Were we just doing one apiece? Because there was one other thing that seemed interesting. I think the new Mario Party seems fine. I'm always a fan of the Mario parties. I like to check them out. I didn't really catch what the new shtick was. Maybe that you could just play with a shit ton of people this time. Was that what I was picking up?
Yeah, I think that's the gist. You didn't like the last one though, did you? You hated the last one.
The last remake one they did, I thought was pretty good, but
Oh yeah.
they like rebooted it, and I bought it, and I was angry that I couldn't play it with my Pro controller, and so I traded it in.
Right.
I didn't hate the game necessarily. I was just, it was Nintendo, and I needed a reason to be angry, and so I just was.
And they gave you one, yeah.
And they did, and it wasn't hard.
Yeah.
Just like the Funko, they had to include that.
Yeah.
But the Jamboree looks cool. The Jamboree looks cool, and I'm not like a huge DK fan, but I will slip it in here before somebody else starts talking. DK always looks cool. Nothing like when a good DK slips in, boys. Oh, Ben was so embarrassed that he had to.
My only thing
eat
about
out.
the DK thing in particular was they're calling it Donkey Country Returns HD, and I feel like putting HD at the end of a title is so early 2010s, but I guess that's kind of Nintendo's way of doing things.
Well, dude, for the Switch, that's actually like an achievement.
Yeah, I know.
Still.
And that's the sad part is you know, you're taking a Wii title and putting it on Switch and calling it HD, and it's like, couldn't we just have a new Donkey Kong? He's kind of been not well represented in the past little while, especially on the Switch. But I guess Ben had to go as slip in a DK. Oh, a DK Quickie.
A DK Quickie, buddy.
But did you happen to see the Zelda? Zelda, I have the name here. Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, where you play as Princess Zelda.
Yeah, I mean, that looks cool. It reminds me a lot of and I'm assuming this is kind of what they're going for, is the Link's Awakening. I didn't play that, but I saw people talk pretty favorably about it. So,
hello,
did you get a DK Quickie in, Ben?
I have no idea what just happened,
dude. You heard me talking about the DK Quickie, and you instantly busted. Don't lie to me, boy. Your camera went black too quickly for that not to have been the case. Man.
Well, and the crazy part is, okay, so the crazy part is nothing else changed. Like, I just tabbed over and hit play, and I was listening to you guys talk, and I'm like, I'm gone. Why am I, like, so it wasn't my internet. The website just crapped the bed for me. I don't know.
Well, we were all here.
Are we still talking about Donkey Kong?
No, we segue to Zelda.
Echoes of
you
Wisdom.
Mother. That was going to be mine, okay?
We just started. So
yeah, we literally just started, and I don't have anything profound to say about it. So why don't you take over?
Well, as the resident Zelda lover,
do what now?
The resident Zelda lover.
More
I
like
said what I said.
lover.
I've played. I think there are only 2 Zelda games two mainline Zelda games that I have ever not played. And by mainline, I mean, like, I didn't play Hyrule Warriors. I didn't play, like, games that are featuring Zelda and, like, whatever.
Is that a Zelda game?
That's
I
definitely.
think
not
some
me.
people would call it a Zelda game, but it doesn't have the same appeal to me.
I don't know about that. Okay.
But I am excited. Now, granted, for a new Zelda game, I would have appreciated a different art style. I don't need it to be, Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild level or anything. But this isn't my favorite art style. The little tiny, they're not
Chibi.
quite chibi, but they are chibi.
Kind of. They're
Yeah.
chibi.
I think it's cool that we're going to be playing as Zelda. That's a cool little twist. I'm interested to see what that move set will look like. I know we saw a little bit in the trailer, but not a lot. And yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. If it's a Zelda game, I'm going to play it. Like that's the way it is with
Ben's
me.
there.
I'm there. And Ed agrees with me and says if someone says Hyrule Warriors is a Zelda game, I'm throwing hands. Yeah, I am not. I am not all about that. Link's Awakening remake art style is like claymation meets plastic toys. I will say, this is a little bit reminiscent of Link's Awakening in some sense, but I absolutely love the Link's Awakening remake. It's in the top tier of Zelda games for me. As a matter of fact, I did a tier list on my YouTube channel like probably a year ago, and it still gets I never did crazy numbers, but like it still gets like couple hundred, 500-600 views a month, and then and I constantly have comments threatening to kill me for my rankings.
Jesus.
So you
So
have Hyrule Warriors on there.
It's the
Hyrule
Nintendo
Warriors is not
fans.
a Zelda game, so I didn't have it on there. But yes, but I am very much. Oh, and the other thing was I hadn't quite finished Tears of the Kingdom yet when I did that video, and so I said that, and a lot of people are coming back like, "Oh yeah, finish Tears of the Kingdom and come back and tell me where it ranks now." And I'm like, I said it was good. I didn't.
And you probably played. It's such a huge game. You probably played a fuck ton enough to know what the game's like, bro.
Honestly, I can't remember. Anyway, I'm very excited for a new Zelda game. It doesn't matter to me that it looks like this. It's a new Zelda game. That's important. Dave, any others? I have one or two more.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had some thoughts on Echoes of Wisdom. Again, number one, I love that it's coming out this year. They do seem to be playing it safe a little bit by doing it in. It kind of looks like Link's Awakening DLC. Obviously, it isn't. But I mean, the fact that you're playing as Zelda and they didn't just slap a sword or some other, weapon in her hand is cool. And the what do they call it?
Triforce?
No. The staff. I think they called it the tri-staff or something. I don't know. The little staff that she gets to conjure like objects in the game. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of got the sense that
Tri-rod.
like Tri-rod, that you get like the same, not the same, but like there seems to be a degree of creativity in that's reminding me of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, where I don't know that there's one defined solution to each puzzle in the game. Like you could conjure up, whatever works to try to get through a puzzle. So I really like the approach they're going with when it comes to the puzzle side of this game. But I got to admit that the combat looked a little not as enthralling as I would hope. So I hope it's a little more leaning on the puzzle solving side and not so much on combat where you're summoning other enemies to fight for you and throwing objects at people and stuff like that, because that part didn't look great, but the actual puzzle solving stuff looked really cool. So I'm excited for that for sure.
I hope it's a beefy game. Like I hope it's like a 30 plus hour, maybe not more than 50, but like we don't need a short Zelda game. And so I think with what you're saying, Dave, I hope there's enough potential for both of those kinds of like different play styles and different features in the game.
Yeah.
I don't want anything just kitschy or, I want it to be meaningful. What else? Oh, wait, hold on. We got some comments about here. Link's Awakening remake. I already said that. It's the exact art style. I adore Link's Awakening remake. I don't know. It didn't feel the exact same to me, but you're probably right that it is. It looked a little more like, I don't know. Maybe it is on second look here or third look. I've watched this trailer twice already. Radic asked if I count Link's crossbow training. I don't. I mean, I guess I did play that. It's not a Zelda game. It's a crossbow. It's a Wii peripheral pack-in. I don't know if that counts, but I did like it. It was fun.
It doesn't.
Ed says, I want to talk about Tears of the Kingdom's ending, but I don't want to see the light leave Ben's eyes if I spoil something minuscule. Well, Dave, first of all, I have finished the game, so you wouldn't be spoiling it for me.
Just
And
call
second
Ed,
of
Dave.
all, oh, sorry, Ed.
Wow, Dave.
I looked up at Dave. Okay.
Wow.
Uh,
See how
Ed,
he
you-
is?
Ed, you just recently played Nier, and you talked to Ed, so you're basically like.
Oh my god. It's
And
like
also,
osmosis.
Ed, like, I don't know, what if there's some random person watching this 10 days from now after it has aired and they're seeing the comments pop up on the side of the YouTube and they're like, great, this idiot in chat just spoiled the end of this game for me. See, I never want to be spoiled, and I never want anyone else to be spoiled because I was being a jackass. So maybe just follow that model and you'll be fine, Ed. Okay? All right.
Oh man.
Sorry. Dave, what do you think of Mario and Luigi Brothership?
I like that Nintendo is not experimenting, but I like that they've switched up the art style. This is something that I don't know that we've seen before, at least not for a really long time. It did feel kind of reminiscent to some of the like 90s era like cartoons that they had with Mario. But I really like that they're trying to do something different. If you have to give Nintendo credit for one thing, it's that they're not afraid to use their IPs in different ways, and that's cool. I don't know if this is supposed to be a co-op game. In any case, aside from the way it looks, there's nothing about a turn-based Mario game that kind of appeals to me. So again, beyond looking at it, I'm not really interested in playing this. But again, I got to give props to Nintendo for trying new things from a visual standpoint, at least.
Yeah. Now, you said turn-based?
Yeah, so they showed the combat, and it's, maybe I'm wrong, but it certainly looked like Paper Mario-esque to me in terms of
In Mario RPG?
yeah.
I mean, I think there's a little bit of that in it, but they're definitely like when they're navigating the world, it definitely like the platforming seemed like it
Yeah,
would
the
not
platforming, and that's where parts of it looked kind of co-op-ish, where like you
Mhm.
have to jump onto one thing and then Luigi jumps on your back, and then so I don't know how that's going to work, but yeah, the combat again looked pretty much like a turn-based game, and that's
Yeah.
not something that I like it every now and then, like Sea of Stars. I love that, but Mario for me is not turn-based. So
Yeah.
I love Super Mario RPG, the original and the remake. I think they're both fantastic, and so that doesn't bother me, and I love turn-based in general. But I really like the new art style. There was a part of it I was watching where I was almost like, this is a mix of like current 3D Mario, and it almost reminds me a little like there's this one frame of it, I don't know, like a couple frames of it, where I was like, oh, this kind of is reminiscent of like a 30s or 40s cartoon, like almost like a Cuphead style.
Right.
Certainly not like the same kind of film grain, all that kind of stuff, and it's still very far from that, but it just gave me that little bit of like yesteryear feeling, and yeah, I hope it's not co-op only. Like I hope I can just play myself because I don't want to play co-op with anyone.
I don't think Nintendo's
This
have they
game.
put out a mainline game that has ever required you to have two people. Like usually it's the other way around. It's like you can play with two people, but like the second player has a shitty experience. I don't think it's ever that I can remember it being like. So I'm sure they'd come up with
Yeah.
something.
I'm trying to think of any that's ever required it, and I can't think that there are. But yeah, every Nintendo does not do, in my opinion, co-op well. Every co-op
No.
experience I've ever had with Nintendo, I've been irritated that I was playing co-op. And maybe that was because of who I was playing with or whatever, I don't know, but yeah.
Oh well.
What else, Dave?
I think
Anything?
those were the Mario, Zelda, and Metroid were the big ones for me. The only other one I kind of wanted to make a comment on was Tales of the Shire.
Mhm.
Just because I think the idea of doing a higher budget Lord of the Rings themed Stardew Valley is a great fucking idea, but they've made the hobbits look like really creepy Cabbage Patch Kids. I don't know if anybody else got that vibe, but
Yeah.
I was just watching the way they were moving and like the lifeless looks in their eyes, and I'm like, this game just looks odd. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea and it's one worth keeping an eye on. So yeah, I
It
don't
looked
know.
like Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley,
Yeah,
Hobbit. Yeah,
yeah,
Middle
which is
Earth.
cool. I mean, everybody wants to hang
Yeah.
out in the Shire, but something's off about those hobbits.
Yeah, I agree with that. Um, the only other thing you guys mentioned Donkey Kong while I was kind of getting disconnected there, and I'm excited for that.
Jorking it.
I don't, well, yeah, I don't know that. I don't know that I'm gonna pick this up or not right away. Like, there's no reason to wait and let for a price drop or anything. But I've played Donkey Kong Country 900 million times, and then I played it on the Wii, and I'm like, okay, I guess we'll do it again. And I love Donkey Kong, but I just don't. I'll play it. Who am I kidding? Like, I know I will. And then I also wanted to bring up it's not a Nintendo game necessarily, but they brought the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. Do you guys either one of you have any history with Marvel vs. Capcom? Okay, I used to love Marvel vs. Capcom 2 specifically, and I'm sure I wasn't good at it, and I'm sure I'm still not good at it. But I think it's cool that they're bringing it to modern hardware. And maybe it is on modern hardware somewhere else already, just that game. But I think having all of these games there is pretty cool. Um, and I'll play that. I might not play that on the Switch though, but I'll play it. Edward Walton says it's not. I assume he means it's not on any other modern hardware. So that's cool. That's really cool. All right, boys. Anything else about the Nintendo Direct discussion? I mean, I think Nintendo wins E3, not E3, right?
Bro.
I mean,
bro.
sorry, Brandon. I just call it like I see it over here. Okay. Know that the other conferences got me to disconnect from the thing because of excitement, right? So it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Let's move on to this next one. And this is I want to be more of a discussion than a news article, but it was brought to mind because of this news article. It says playing a From Software game without a guide, or it was an interview, sorry. Playing it without a guide is a rare feat. Most players rely on guides, understanding weapons, NPC quest lines, boss strategies, and item descriptions. From Software Miyazaki acknowledges this, noting that while the studios expect players to consult guides, their games are designed for those who play without external help. For the upcoming Elden Ring expansion Shadow of the Erdtree, Miyazaki assures that players who have progressed far enough in the base game will be capable of uncovering its secrets and overcoming its challenges. The studio respects players who use guides but doesn't design them with those in mind. So, this is a little bit about Shadow of the Erdtree. Not really, about From games. I think From games are pretty obtuse sometimes as far as how to get around. Obviously, the people who write the guides figure it out
Right.
in order for you to find it. But I want to gauge your guys' thoughts on using guides in general. Are you guide users? Do you not like guides? Do you only consult them for like trophies, or how do you feel? Brandon, we'll start with you because I know Dave is a newcomer to the Platinum game, but you've been a Platinum hunter for a while to some extent. How do you feel about guides?
I mean, I don't have any problem with guides. I think that From games, especially Elden Ring, offer like a really unique experience when you don't use a guide. I think that if I'm really stuck on something, I'm not afraid to bang my head up against it for a little bit and then like see what somebody else thinks. But a game like Elden Ring, my first playthrough I think was mostly just organic, if I could help it. And that's kind of how I feel about it. I think some people are so rigid, like, oh, you're not playing it if you're not if you're having somebody else help you through it. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. I feel like oftentimes there's a good in between. I mean, if you're looking up how to min max your first playthrough, that's like different than being like, okay, which general direction should I be? Just I don't know. It's a lot more gray than I feel like some people want to make it. And guides have been a thing forever. You used to just have to buy them in a book fucking form. And my dad did that. All the people I knew had a guide or two. It's just, I don't know. I don't feel like you're playing less of a game for occasionally wanting help. I feel like the hand holding the entire time. I mean, hey, look, if that's how you want to play the game, that's fine. Like, I wouldn't do it that way. But like, I feel like most people think that when you read a guide that you're just, I don't know, reading beat for beat what's going to happen before it happens. And I think that a lot of that is not what people do. So, yeah, I don't know. And just to touch on one more thing about From games in general, I think this is something that From actually struggles with quite a bit, especially in a game like Elden Ring. I feel like in some ways they rely heavily on the multiplayer aspect because people write messages, and that is actually a huge way, and that's a big thing that a lot of people don't always use. I mean, when I was playing on the seamless co-op mod, they just go away because you can't be online. So there are ways around it, and I think they are getting better at it. And Miyazaki even said, it's something that they're going to continue to pursue. But yeah, I don't think guides are bad, boys. I don't think they're bad at all, and I don't mind using it every once in a while. I think that it would be worse if I made myself mad enough that I'm going to stop playing a game because I don't. You know what I mean? So it's like it's better to continue to play the game at the cost of a little bit of an aha moment because I don't need a guide every time, but sometimes I'm just frustrated and games are about having fun. So that's kind of my 2 cents, boys.
Davey, you resonated with a point Brandon made there. How do you feel about guides in general?
Yeah, especially just looking at FromSoft games before I get into kind of the general thing is that's always been my fear is I really want to experience these games, but I have this fear of rage quitting due to, just not being able to get by a boss or getting lost too long. And that's a fear I have. And the problem is like for me, like FromSoft games are so watchable either on YouTube or Twitch. And there's a lot of the games I haven't played, but I can't play any of them blind because I've literally watched full playthroughs of all of them. But I think guides in general, it just comes down to you can enjoy a game however the fuck you want. And if people say things like, quote, I will judge you if you use a guide as 100% of the game are toxic and you should remove them from your life. I'm not referring to anyone in particular, but I just, and I used to love buying guides. I just got to say, before cell phones, guides were excellent bathroom reading material. I remember sitting in my bathroom and reading Assassin's Creed Black Flag guide for hours, and and my legs would fall asleep. But no, the other thing is like so many games we play these days are checkbox running errands, and it's like, do you really expect me to spend all this time finding every single piece of X collectible in Horizon Forbidden West? Like, are people doing that? I'm sure they are because somebody's writing the guide or they're crowdsourcing the guide. But I mean, in games like that where I just kind of want to get the platinum, it's whatever. But I looking at Miyazaki's statement of we design our games for people without guides, it's kind of a weird statement because it suggests that there are games that are solely designed for guides, and I don't know if there is. It's you can use a guide if you want, but you don't have to. But I think what he's trying to get at is their vision, and his vision for any FromSoft game, especially the open world formula that they've now adopted, is one of exploration and discovery. And if that happens organically, then you're experiencing the game that they intended. So I think that's kind of what he's getting at, and I can really respect that. I haven't ever mustered up the courage of going through a FromSoft game blind, but I might have that opportunity with Erdtree. But that would require me not to watch it on Twitch, and that's going to be really hard because I love watching these games on Twitch.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's a really good conversation though, and I'm curious to hear what you think of this, Ben.
Talking about FromSoft games being very watchable, I was thinking about with Elden Ring specifically. I have played between the PlayStation version and the seamless co-op on PC. I've probably played, I don't know, but like 50, 60 hours of that game. And I've probably watched 5 times that amount on Twitch or on YouTube videos. And sometimes it's just on the screen on the side. It is a very watchable game indeed. But yeah, I'm not against guides, but I'm way more on the side of guides should be a help, like an assistance. You should go back to them if you need the help. If I run up against a puzzle I can't figure out, I will try it, but I will not make myself not enjoy it and not beat the game. And generally what I do, like, you get into a guide and it's like, first you need to go to this place to do this. And then there's like 4 more paragraphs telling you what to do. If I didn't know I need to go to this place to do this, I will go and do that and try to figure it out from there. So like even when I use a guide, I tend not to use it very thoroughly until I absolutely need to. So I don't think if I don't think you're playing the game wrong depending on how you're doing it. But what I don't understand the people who use guides like because they don't want to miss anything and because they want to um, I don't understand because I am so sensitive to spoilers. I don't want to read ahead of where I am. I don't want to read, okay, in this next section, you're going to walk into a room and there's going to be a boss and here are his attacks. Like, I want to go in and experience that before it happens to me. I don't think that's the wrong way. I don't think it's wrong to do that. It's just a way of playing games that's totally alien to me because some of the coolest parts about games, especially if they're suspenseful or kind of scary, or even if there's just giant set pieces that you wouldn't expect, or a boss enters a different phase that you didn't know was coming. Think about how many different bosses in Elden Ring you thought you beat them and there's a second phase. Like, well, if you'd already known that, it would have kind of taken away some of that thrill of it, right? So that's kind of how I feel about it, is that I'm okay with using them as like a resource if you need help. And ultimately, like you said, people can play games however they want. I just don't understand people who play games with their nose in the guide before they even get to the section. And that's different than talking about like when we were kids sitting on the toilet reading the guides for like I used to get art books guides and use them as art books because I couldn't afford the game. But the art book was the guide was on sale for $3 at Target because nobody else bought it. So I would do that. But yeah, kind of all around. I thought it was interesting that even came up in that Miyazaki interview.
I mean, the myth, the legend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, I saw something that just as a little aside, real quick, and another interview because he's doing a bunch, I think, in the lead up to the Erdtree DLC. He said something like they asked him if this was like his final vision, like his magnum opus was Elden Ring, and he's like, it's one of the best games in the past 10 years. Nobody can argue with that, and if you're arguing with that, you're wrong. But he's like, no, we're not quite to like exactly where I want to be. I don't know, like, dude, this isn't it. This isn't like, he's
like, this isn't even my final
creme.
form.
He's just, he is a G. He is a G, absolute G.
It's funny you say that because I've been observing the trends on Twitch over the past month, and I don't ever recall seeing the lead into, let alone a sequel, have this much of an impact on what people are playing and watching on Twitch. And this is DLC. So Brandon, when you say I think this is one of the best games in the past 10 years, I ultimately think that we're going to look back on Elden Ring in 10 years and it's going to be up there with Ocarina of Time and the big boys. So
yes,
it's for DLC. It's insane.
Crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Let's move on to one of the most exciting stories of the week. Suicide Squad
makes me want to suicide.
Will continue. Number 3, despite low player numbers, Warner Brothers confirms that Suicide Squad will follow through with its 1-year roadmap, which includes 4 seasons of new characters, environments, activities, skins, and balance updates. Currently in its first season featuring the Joker, the game is expected to release the second episode soon, while Rocksteady Studios reportedly shifts focus to other projects, such as Director's Cut of Hogwarts Legacy and a new single-player game. Warner Brothers has not commented on the game's future beyond the first year. Again, this isn't as much of a news item, because, it's Suicide Squad, but I just think it's cool, even though this game is flopping. It did flop. It will continue to flop unless they get, on some subscription service or something, that they're going to support it. Because the people I always found that really distasteful when a live service game gets discontinued before the promised content, even though someone bought it. And I understand money, how all that works, but I don't know. You guys have any thoughts other than the fact that, this game sucks? I do want to play it. I do want to play this game.
Yeah.
Just to have it on the right time.
What does support mean, though? You know what I mean, boys? Like, we're going to support it for a year. And I know you just did read off some stuff. I
literally read what they said. New characters, new environments, new activities.
I wasn't not listening,
Ben.
I wasn't not listening, but you know how like video game companies say words all the time, but that can sometimes mean, obviously some things are incredibly quantifiable, like the amount of characters, but new activities, guess what that could be? The almost beat for beat the same activity that already exists with a different skin. So like I don't want to completely poo-poo this, and I agree with you, Ben, mostly. I'm glad to see that they aren't just putting it in the shitter, but I think Warner Brothers is far too greedy to not hope that they get a little bit of extra money out of this shitter. I'm not
So
that hopeful, boys. I don't know. Maybe it's
I,
just me.
Brandon, I go back to the original question of what does this mean? When Ben says this, what it means to me is Warner Bros is saying the content we've already developed and is all ready to go. That's still coming. So don't worry. So this costs nothing, I think, and they have to do this because at the very least you cannot alienate the fans who chose to ignore the people who said this game was shit before it launched. Because remember, they did the beta and everybody was saying this game sucks, but people still bought the game. So you got to play the long game with that. But let's remember that we're living in this day and age in gaming where people have short memories and we're all willing to give second chances. So there's a chance that this game could have a second life. And Ben, you mentioned subscription service. Suicide Squad isn't on anything yet. And it could easily be, and that could be a chance for it to at least recoup some of the losses it had. Now, this is probably going to be a lot like the Avengers, where it's just going to slowly disappear into obscurity. But there's always a chance with these games that, people could love it. It could be a cult hit, and a lot of people could buy it later on down the road. But at the end of the day, this content is probably just sitting there ready. So it makes zero sense for Warner Bros. To just not put it out there, because then you're just alienating people who supported you from day one. So there you go.
I think there's also the very real possibility that people were hired for this game on contracts and they have a contract that extends like another X amount of time and they don't want to put them on a new project. So they're like, well, you can just keep bug fixing the stuff we've already developed for the first year of this game and then be done with it. And then your contract will be up and whatever. It's like they can't just kick those people to the curb because they've already contracted with them. So but yeah, Brandon, to answer your question about what does that mean, I think it means it will follow through with its 1 year roadmap, and it'll probably include like 4 seasons of new characters, some new environments. I'm just messing with you,
bro. I know. Of course, it's taking new skins because you could probably pay for them. Of course, it is. It's just like
I don't know. I think
I swear I remember being able to pay for skins. Wasn't that?
Yeah, but like if you bought the season pass, they're already included.
Okay. All right.
They don't. I think think about some of the games over the last couple years that were like, okay, the game's coming out, and they shut down before the stuff is even already. Like, look at Redfall. Pretty sure Redfall stuff didn't get delivered to some of the people who bought the full edition of that game.
You know how much the IP for this game costs? Probably an insane amount of money. Redfall didn't have that. Redfall didn't have that. That's all I'm saying.
I bet it costs a lot more in development time from Arcane and time lost on other projects, though.
And
it cost them the studio.
And it cost them their life.
It cost us another Arkham game. That's what it cost us.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's the biggest, fuck this other news story. That's the biggest, that is the biggest takeaway from all of this. That's what we're missing out on, people. God damn it.
I'm actually going to agree with your sentiment about the next news story because it was really boring, and I didn't know if we'd be able to fill up the time with Dave's haircut or Brandon's haircut story.
Am I Ed now? First he said, no, I'm kidding. I'm pulling your leg.
So let's go ahead and talk about what we've been playing.
Yeah, let's do it.
Brandon, I want to go to you first because I'm, with Dave, I was eagerly anticipating his stuff. With you, I'm also eagerly anticipating, but Dave went last, and you're going to go first because I want to have to cajole you into keep playing this game. And I feel like we might need some time for that.
Yeah, it's going to take some time, boys. So I'm still playing Red Dead. I will say last week...
Red Dead 2 specifically.
Red Dead Redemption 2. I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2 again. And I did continue with the save that I had prior, that I started at the beginning of the year. I got to say, the first night or two, a little rough, boys. A little rough. And I talked about it last week. But as I've went through the week, I've been enjoying it more and more and more. I said this in the Discord, so sorry to anybody that saw it. But I'm not past where I was either of the other 2 playthroughs that I've done. But it continues to be a great experience. And on PC, it's gorgeous. The frame rate's wonderful, and the graphics, I got everything cranked to the max. And I'm genuinely, like, obviously PC is PC, but like, I'm genuinely surprised. I'm like falling in love with how beautiful this game is again, especially with everything on Ultra. So, yeah, it's really great. I won't take back that it's very slow. I'm in chapter 3, and it is picking up a bit, thank God. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I
And
haven't
it's
done
60 FPS.
yeah, at least.
Yeah.
So, um it's been great. I have been kind of like main pathing it a bit. If there's somebody like literally I'm riding by somebody and they want me to like give them a health potion, I'll do that. Or someone's getting robbed or something. I'll do that, but I'm kind of just giving it the business.
Mhm.
I did save that in the like second camp area. There's like a gunsmith where the gunsmith is like keeping a grown man dressed as a baby in the basement. I did do
Yeah.
that quest as well, but just because I thought it was funny and I knew there was a gun down there that I could steal from this old fucking pervert. But actually, he's not a pervert. His son died and he's like mentally ill. But it is kind of weird. So yeah, it's been great though, boys. Although I would say in T minus, I don't know. I'm not doing math. Pretty fucking soon.
48 hours.
Yeah, and well, in less than that because for PC it comes out Thursday at 6 p.m.
So 46 hours.
There we go. There we go. And I took Friday off, boys. I took Friday off. So anybody who wants to peep the stream, I should be around Friday during the day playing Erdtree.
You got to play Thursday and Friday. You got to stream both days.
I probably will. I'm a little bit nervous about like starting at the very first time on stream, but it might be fun.
Why would you be nervous? Who cares?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Plus, I got to figure out before that what I'm going to redo my build like. So who knows? I might not play Red Dead again until because I might need to prep for this for a couple days. I already prepped with the haircut, so I'm already one step of the way. But yeah, it's been great, boys. So chapter 3, I don't remember how many chapters there are, but I don't think I can't even be halfway done with the game. Not even close, probably. But yeah, I got 6 months left, so we'll see how that goes.
5.5, realistically. No, you're right. You're right. 6 months. 6.5. 6.5, Brandon. I'll go ahead and go next. Playing Sea of Thieves, as always. I don't even know why I bring it up anymore.
Shot.
Been continuing to play V Rising. My buddy Brad. He's been playing a lot more than I have, and I have had opportunity to play when he hasn't. But because it's his hosted world, I can't play when he's not there. So that's killing me a little bit because I'll be wanting to play and he's not around. So, and then he'll be playing and progressing bosses and gathering materials and making new weapons, and I'm like, I'm not able to play right now. So it's kind of tough. He's getting really close to the end, and I'm worried that, not really worried, whatever, but he's going to beat the game, and then I'm going to be left in the lurch because he's never going to want to come back to it. And then especially once Erdtree comes out, I'll just be sitting there with a incomplete V Rising game that I'll never be able to finish, and I'll have to start my own and spend another 80 hours in it. But that's the name of the game when it comes to this kind of stuff. And then the other thing that I didn't write down, I guess I forgot to write it down. Last night I hopped into, for the first time, Monster Hunter Rise. And as someone, I played a little bit of Monster Hunter World. That's right, right?
That game's heat, yeah. Monster Hunter World.
I played a decent bit of it with Brandon. Maybe I even played some of it before that, honestly. Like right when it came out, I played a little bit of it. And I really liked it, but I just never played it long enough. Or the problem with games like that for me is when I'm playing a game with someone that has already played it or has experienced it, I don't really learn it. I just do what they tell me to do.
Right.
And so last night was the first time I played. I played the tutorial mission, and then Dustin and Brad jumped in, and I was like, all right, let's go. And then I just went and did what they told me to do. So I got to hop in and actually play by myself, because Monster Hunter is it's a very rich franchise, but it's also a mega confusing, deep franchise with so many different systems. Like, I don't even know if I went back to it right now without them, I don't even know for certain that I know where to go start a quest. I'm pretty sure I do, but like, I skipped so much of just learning that and just jumped right into it. So I'm a little bit regretful of that already. But I had fun, and I like the Monster Hunter games. I got to figure out, all the systems, and there's these little things you can collect that give you power ups, and there's different types of potions you can brew. And before you go out on a hunt, you eat a little meal. And so, I got to figure all that out. I've probably only got 2 or 3 hours in it at this point, but I do like it. And man, I picked it up. I think I've talked about this twice or something, but I picked it up on a Steam sale with the DLC as well. It's $20 total. So
Value.
it's a heck of a steal right there. I've wasted $20 on way worse than this. way worse than this.
Do tell.
No, but
$20 is $20. You know the saying. That's all. We'll leave it at that.
yeah,
I'm $20 richer.
that's right. So yeah, that's where I'm at with Monster Hunter Rise. I don't know, what my pace is going to be. I'm probably going to play a good bit on my own, and then as people can jump in and want to play together, then feel free to do that. Dave, it's on to you, and you have kind of a big announcement here for us.
I do. Oh, well, maybe I wrote it that way, but unfortunately I don't. I set a goal for myself this weekend to, I don't want to say tie the knot on Skull and Bones, but I'm done playing it for a while. And my goal was to get the platinum, and I did not get the platinum, but it's because there is a bugged trophy.
Oh,
That's even worse, bro. That's
So I'm
even
sorry to
worse.
say, fellas, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, those listening, but in the day and age of quadruple A gaming, there are still bugged trophies.
dude,
still bug trophies.
Knock an A off.
What kind of is it? A spoilery kind of trophy? What kind is there a spoiler in Skull and Bones?
And
Okay.
it's probably the worst kind of bug trophy because the trophy that is bugged is called East Indies Explorer, and the map is split up into 3 big chunks, and
Mhm.
one of the chunks is called the East Indies, and the trophy is for exploring each area. And unfortunately, this particular trophy is not easy to track in that it doesn't tell you which zones you've explored, and there's 28 in total.
Okay.
So I spent 3 hours throughout the weekend just kind of sailing around this zone, and at one point I even had a list of all 28 zones, and when each zone popped up on the screen, I crossed it off the list, and I did that, and the list got smaller and smaller, and I was saying, okay, it's gonna pop, I'm gonna get it. It never happened. So
Wow.
Wow.
I can confirm it's I can't confirm, but I've done some research, and there are several other people saying that since the season 2 expansion that this trophy has stopped popping for people. So I sent a text to Eve. I just said comprends-le, which is French for figure it out. But I also reported this. So just Ben, you mentioned this a couple of weeks ago with something that it doesn't matter if this is an indie developer or a quadruple game developer. Report your bugs, people. Don't shout at it on the internet. You can do that too. But also, if there is a platform that exists for reporting that, take 2 minutes and go and report the bug, because that's the developers really rely on that to fix
They
it.
actually do read them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I've got every single trophy. I have 27 of 28 zones explored in that last trophy. So in my mind, I've done everything that's kind of required. And if this bug is fixed, I will go back and get that trophy to pop. So yeah, I did like the platinum because it did get me to do things that I hadn't done. There was a lot of hunting that I hadn't done, which is cool because when you're hunting, you're in your little dhow, which is basically like a dinghy. It's a little raft, and your only weapon is a spear. There were 2 other really fun trophies where you actually had to attack towers with spears like 100 times. So I'm just sitting there like spamming the spear at this tower, which is like one-shotting me. So yeah, that's that. I've also been playing Deep Rock Galactic Season 5. I believe it's called Digging Deeper. Just launched last Thursday. And yeah, for Carl. We did it for Carl. And I just love Deep Rock Galactic. We all know this. And I don't know that Season 5 really adds that much. There's like a couple new activities to do within missions, and there is one new mission type. And this new mission type is half really tedious and half really cool. These new missions are called like core scans or something. Anyways, you have to go through the map and you have to find these cores that are hidden in the ground, and you have this little like meter that tells you how close you are to it, but it doesn't show up on your map, so you kind of just have to wait for this meter to fill and then just randomly start digging all around you. And it's not precise. It's kind of annoying. But once you do that 3 times, then you spawn this massive drill that once you and your entire team gets on, it drills really fast into the ground, and it lasts like 5 minutes. And as it's happening, all these enemies are spawning above you. So like you're pointing up in the air and you're shooting all these enemies on the wall. And as they're dying, they're like falling down into the cavern and stuff. And then you get to the bottom of the cavern, you have to collect these seeds. And then to get out of the cavern, you have to put on these jet boots, which is really fucking cool. They had jet boots in the last season, but I think this is a really cool way to use them. So
Yeah.
So yeah, other than that, I'm just having fun getting back into Deep Rock Galactic. I want to start promoting my dwarves in my Steam account, which I haven't done before. So yeah, Deep Rock Galactic can do no wrong for me. And yeah, if you haven't checked this game out, it's on sale a lot. It's really fun. I believe this season is supposed to lead into Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core, which is the roguelite that is coming out in the Deep Rock universe. So yeah, some new stuff coming, and everybody should play Deep Rock, Rock and Stone.
Yeah,
Rock and Stone, brother.
Yeah, Dave, I'm excited to hop in with you here maybe later this week. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I love
you were
Deep Rock.
busy last night with other friends, so
Played Monster Hunter Rise.
I played alone.
Yeah,
Dude, I would have been there if I was home.
Yeah. Well, Dave, you asked me 30 minutes after I made plans to play with them.
I know. I'm just pulling your leg.
Shut up, Dave. You're mad. I know it. I can feel it.
It's not for Carl, dude. He wasn't.
Mad about Airbnb. I'm mad about Skull and Bones. I'm mad my friends won't play video game. I know you said you would say no, but you weren't supposed to say it to me, Ben. Not to
No,
me.
no. I
He's
wouldn't.
still salty about Drake.
Yeah.
Salty about Drake. Wow.
Yeah.
Dave, you talk about bug trophies. I have like a billion achievements or whatever on Xbox PC for Sea of Thieves, but when it came to PS5, some of them transferred over and some of them didn't. And so I just logged in and I just got like endless amounts of trophies. But I have completed everything that is needed to be done for the platinum in that game with only like 3 hours on PlayStation, just because I only bought it honestly because I wanted to get the platinum in the game. And I have everything done, but there's a couple that if you transferred your progress, which of course you would, because why are you going to play on a new pirated on a new system anyway? And there's a few of them that if you've already done them, you can't get, because it's like for the first time do this, and because I've already done it for the first time, it's not recognizing it. And so a couple of them haven't been fixed, but I'm imagining someday a patch is going to roll out and all of a sudden it'll just pop the platinum for me. But that's all.
Pop that
I just
platinum.
pop that platinum. The plat for honestly, the platinum for Sea of Thieves is pretty easy in my opinion, but that's also from someone with 4,000 hours in the game who knows how to do everything. If you're brand new, I'm sure it's not that easy. But that's all we got. That's the show.
That's it.
That's it.
Marvel,
Brandon.
baby. It's Marvel, baby.
Marvel.
I'm the Joker, baby.
Brandon, are you gonna hop into Red Dead or Elden Ring now? What's next? Or
Hard to
Counter-Strike?
say. Hard to say. Probably Elden Ring. I legitimately am gonna have to do a tiny bit of grinding to respec my character and then like decide what weapon I need to level up and shit. So
Yeah. Dave, any more Skull and Bones? You're done for the foreseeable future, you're saying?
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
how many weeks I have left on my PS Plus. I might jump in a little bit, but yeah, I'm done. What I want to know is when it does get fixed, will the trophy just pop for me, or will I have to go and figure out what zone the game thinks I haven't explored yet?
It's a good question. I wonder if it, like, there's got to be some checkbox in the back of the system that says, like, you visited this region, visited that region, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love that it doesn't, that a lot of trophies like that are like, get all these collectibles, but it doesn't tell you where the one collectible you don't have is or the one region you haven't visited. So hopefully you kept that piece of paper where you crossed all the regions off.
It's in my drive.
Nice. Perfect. All right, boys. That's all we got. Don't forget, head over to patreon.com/AnthemPhantom if you want to help support us for as little as $1 a month. We appreciate you very much. And also, hang out with us in Discord at handsomephantom.com/Discord. We appreciate you. We're going to end, figure out the show title, and Rock and Stone.
Rock and Stone.
Alrighty, boys.
If you ain't rockin' stone, you ain't coming home.
Dave, I totally forgot they were doing that roguelike.
Yeah, it's probably next year. These seasons are really long in Deep Rock.
Were they like a couple months? 3
No,
months?
they're like a year.
Are you fucking serious? Wow,
Yeah,
that's
season
crazy.
4 came out last June.
No shit. Well,
Have they mentioned how many more seasons? Like, are they going to keep doing more seasons of Deep Rock?
I haven't heard otherwise,
Okay, that's good.
but be cool to see them do like Deep Rock too.
Yeah.
what's Coffee Stain cooking up?
All right, boys. All I got. Dave, how does Friday look for you as a potential Deep Rock night?
I will be in Cleveland on Friday.
Sure.
Not in an Airbnb.
Verbo.
Oh no, a Verbo. That's right.
Verbo. Even better than an Airbnb.
All right, well, we'll figure out sometime the Rock and Stone.
You figured out.
Dude, just beat Elden Ring by then, Ben, and then you could play that.
Just
I wasn't planning on playing on Ring.
Dude, you could,
But-
though. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if I could beat it by then.
You could try.
The base game?
Any.
I would have to beat the base game before I could play the DLC.
No. You just have to beat Radon and Moog.
Radon's the guy
Seriously?
on the horse,
Mm-hmm.
You have to beat Moog?
right?
I'm
Mhm.
pretty. That's what everyone's saying.
Oh fuck. Well, isn't there one item that makes that fight really easy? Because he has that like lifesteal thing.
I mean, there is an item that I think mitigates it, but as long as you have not punished yourself by not leveling vigor for the entire game, you should be just fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I just tank through it. It's just like, oh, ouch, potion. Oh, ouch, potion.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was a lot worse than that.
No, it wasn't that bad.
You guys have seen the people who have played like in a single setting through all of the Souls games.
God Run. I have
Yeah.
a guy who he's been trying it for 80 streams.
Wow.
Oh my
He's gonna if he
God,
doesn't
bro.
get it in 15 more streams, he's gonna shave his head. But it's
Yeah.
like soul level 1, no hit,
Right.
Oh, dude, those are nuts.
back to back to back to back.
Nuts, bro.
Yeah.
I've seen people. I don't know if it's been. I think it's been done once. The every From game no hit. Have you guys seen
That's what
that?
we're talking about.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
This guy doesn't do Sekiro.
Yeah, it's not a Souls game, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Thank
It's
you.
just a
No,
From game.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. I think it's a great game. I just don't like it.
It is a From game, but it's. I mean, I don't think anybody would argue it's a Souls game. Souls like.
Dude, it's a Souls like.
All right, let's get out of here. Bye.
See ya.